Hi, how are you today?
Excellent.
Good. I made a decision that either I wanted to be well or dead. Is that a wish?
It all depends on which of the choices you are favoring.
I don't care. Just don't want to stay in this position. I'd rather be better, for sure. But not stuck in one position.
I understand. Choosing for life, choosing for healing, is what will allow for healing. Choosing for death will not actually kill you, although you might succeed in appearing to die as far as everyone here is concerned. But making that choice will not automatically heal you. And whatever you need to learn here in order to experience healing, you will need to learn there. So the choice for death will not give you a leg up. It is good to have your dander up. And with your dander up, choose for life and choose for healing. And I'm telling you that it's not an unreasonable thing to expect. I don't care who says otherwise. At the bottom line, you're the one who's going to say the word. You're going to check with the doctors or with your friends or even your enemies. And you're going to listen to what they say, and then you're going to make a decision. None of them are going to make the decision for you. Your decision will absolutely govern what they think won't mean a tinker's damn. The validity or the weight you give to what they say is the weight you give to it. And your choice will govern. Well, how do I know? They've got more experience. Hell, some of them don't even want me around anyway. I'm nothing but a pain in the ass to everyone. You're saying that, not them. They can say it, but it will have no effect whatsoever on you. What you say will, does, and is having its effect at this very moment. And that's the only thing that's having any effect. Now, the key here is that when you, with your dander up, choose for life and healing, the healing is not going to be up to you. You are not going to have to make the healing happen by your choice and by the strength of your choice and by the force of having your dander up. This may not sound reasonable to you, and this is important for everyone, because it's the underlying fact of every moment of your life. It's the underlying healing, transformational fact underlying your lives. You are neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. You are at that point and must understand yourself therefrom. In other words, your starting and ending point is that you are at this very moment exactly what God expressed of Himself that looks like you. I'm not talking about the way you appear to be. I'm talking about the divine one that you are. And God did not create you with any imperfection. Any imperfections, any dramas or traumas that you are experiencing in your lives are a result of having forgotten that you are and never can stop being exactly what God expressed Himself as, that's called you, which was flawlessly perfect. You forget that, and in having forgotten it, you believe your ignorance, and you argue against your experience of healing, whether it's of a physical condition, whether it's a mental condition, whether it's a relationship, whatever. So, because you can't stop being or alter in any way what God has expressed Himself as, then at this very moment, you are not advancing towards perfection, you're not behind it, you're at that point, and you must understand or conceive of yourself in that way. You see what I'm saying? You must say, in spite of what's going on, in spite of my immobility, in spite of all of this cannot be what God created. Therefore, at this very moment, this is not what God is creating. And so, I am going to stop using my physician's opinions, my own opinions. I'm not going to validate what my eyes say. I'm going to start in my mind with this clear point. I, at this very moment, am exactly what God is perfectly expressing of Himself. Whatever I thought the future ultimate of me was, is the fact right now. Because there's nothing that can alter what God is being right there where you are. Right here where I am. Now, whether your rational mind thinks that's reasonable or not is absolutely irrelevant, because your rational mind is not what is in charge. If you will acknowledge this about yourself, that you're neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it, but you're there, while you're considering that, you will not be arguing against it by saying, the doctors say this, I see this, I see what this condition is causing in other people's lives, and on and on. And what can happen? In the absence of your arguing against your healing by confirming that you have an irrevocable problem, God has a chance to illuminate His perfection right where you are. In the absence of your commitment to your problem, because you're acknowledging something beyond it, You're acknowledging your God-derived presence. There's no longer present anything to distort in your awareness your apprehension of what God is being right there. And God can reveal Himself because you're not in the way arguing against what He's being by claiming that something else is true and that you're stuck with it. Perhaps that no one else has ever recovered from it. Well, they're waiting. Those who haven't recovered are waiting for you so that they can say, well, he recovered from it, so can I, and they stop arguing against their commitment to their entrapment, you see. So I dare you to be unreasonable in the sense that you make a claim about yourself that isn't based upon physical facts and physical interpretations of everyone who's ignorant of the divine one that you are. You need more of me around you, confirming to you a different point of view. And everyone else needs more than me. They need you. And everyone needs all of you experiencing healing because you've stopped arguing in favor of your problems. And in the absence of arguing in favor of the way things are, in the silence of your own voice, claiming your imprisonment, there's space for God to illuminate your health, your healed relationship, your sprained ankle, your whatever it might be. You can, with your dander up, make commitment to life and to the prospect, we'll say, of healing. But that doesn't mean that you will then become personally responsible for healing yourself, so that it's all up to you with the power of your mind. Make that commitment, and then you know what, and I've said this before, you know what true prayer is? It isn't asking for something, it's saying yes to God. Thy will be done. That's prayer. Yes. Yes, I am willing to experience myself the way you are seeing me and being me. You see? Make the commitment to life and then say yes to God. And do it, and do it, and do it, and do it. Because the only thing that has created your problems is that for one ignorant reason or another, you've said no to God. You may not have realized it, but one of the ways all of you say no to God is you say, I'm just a human being. I came from a sperm and an egg. I'm a physical entity. I'm made of stuff that can be injured. And if it's injured seriously enough, I can die because I'm just a physical being. And the physical part of me has nothing to do with God. You can conceive that your soul may be divine. But when you say, all I am is a body, and all I can expect is an increase of vigor and vitality and life that reaches a peak and then begins to fade. When you say this, whether you're on the upside of the hill or the downside of the hill, you're denying God. you're not saying yes to God because you're eternal. You're not going to be eternal. If you're ever going to be eternal, you're eternal at this moment. You're at the point of perfection, not advancing towards it, but you've got to embrace yourself in that context in your mind. And you've got to stop making excuses for the hip that doesn't work as good as it did, or the joints that just aren't what they used to be, or the stamina that the kids have, but that's beyond you now. These are all the ways you say no. And you say no and argue yourself right into the very thing that you're claiming is the truth about you as a body, that you will hit a peak and in decline, and what can you do? But thank God your soul lives on. I'm here to tell you, and I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it because you need to hear it. The infinite manifestation of God is not nebulous and intangible and non-experienceable. The infinite manifestation of God is not some etheric, boundaryless, undefinable presence of love like endless pink fog. The infinite manifestation of God is very specific and very experienceable. And it's all of this: water, paper, cloth, skin. What I'm really saying is that what you experience as paper and cloth and skin is energy. And it's the energy of spirit. And God is spirit. Right now. And if you could see you as I can see you, you are all ageless. You might call it, if you want to judge by appearances, you might say that you are at the height of I'm going to say physical perfection and beautiful. Absolutely beautiful in countenance as well as in the substance of your countenance. I'm telling you that although you can look at each other, and Paul is looking at you with me now, but seeing through his eyes, and you all appear to be different: short, tall, skinny, fat, happy with your looks, unhappy with your looks. There is an evenness of appearance. Every one of you absolutely individualized, but beautiful, right here in this room. And I'm talking about you too. The question is, how do you let in the experience of something that is happening right now, because you're not behind the point of perfection or advancing toward it, you're at that point. How do you let that in? Two things. You stop arguing in opposition to it with all your judgments and reasons, and you stop believing them, all of your reasons and judgments. And the other thing is you say, yes to God. You can't let in a new experience if you're not saying yes. So, why will you experience healing? Why will any of you experience unending improvement, we'll say, until it's a constant experience of bliss? Why? Because that's actually what's going on every moment. You're not struggling up toward and gaining something that isn't yours. You're letting in something that has been from the beginning and was never altered. Now, you may argue with me, but you're much better today than a year ago when I saw you.
You're right.
And you're still kicking against the pricks.
I've got a lot more to go yet.
Well,
I want to be up
you have
and
your
walking.
nose, you have your nose pointed in the right direction. And what I encourage you to do is that at the same time that you recognize there's more improvement needed, that you acknowledge that the improvement that's needed is available to you.
It is.
It is. It's available to you because it's sitting there fully capable of standing up and walking at this very moment because I can see it.
If I wasn't so damn scared, I probably could stand.
That
and
is,
stay on.
yes. All of you say, I don't want to have my problems. But all of you who are still experiencing the problems are scared to death to be without them. Why? Because you're going to have to change. You're going to have to be without the problem. And your problems are habits. And you know how to be with your habits. You don't know how to be free. Because your habits give you a certain sense of security. You say, no, I don't want to be with my mate being withdrawn and incommunicative. I don't want to have an empty relationship. I didn't ask for this. But if you want something else, you're going to have to be with that person a new way. You might actually get dragged out of your comfortable habits of propriety and reserve. You might have to kick up your heels and make a fool of yourself, having fun. The freedom of the fullness of a relationship, the freedom of the fullness of being able to move and do whatever you want, climb a mountain, chin yourself 56 times, the freedom to do that will mean you know what it'll mean? A hell of a lot more responsibility than you have to bear right now. Oh, but I want to be responsible. Yes and no. And you know what I mean. You're neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. You're at that point. And you must conceive of yourself in that context. Every single one of you. Even the ones of you who think you're just fine. You can look at him or at someone you know who has a problem, and you can say, yes, I see that. Plain as the nose on my face, yes. But, gee whiz, my life's going pretty well. I'm not caught in any habits. I'm not trapped. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a freedom available to you that you haven't begun to tap into. So don't be so sure of yourself that the opportunity doesn't stare you in the face. For bliss, for happiness, for joy that you don't have to account for freedom that you don't have to be able to claim responsibility for because it's your birthright, for health, joy, happiness, freedom that's yours, I'm going to say just because. How can it be yours just because? Because God is love. And in His expression of Himself, herself, He, she has withheld nothing of what He is from what He's expressing. And so just because God is love, you at this very moment, each one of you, are the absolutely perfect, flawless expression of God. And the only thing standing between you and your experience of that is the word you're giving, the decision you're making. And you only have two choices. This is all ultimately simple. The two choices are to say yes to God or to say no to God. Now, when you say no to God, it does absolutely nothing to who you really are or God, but it creates a hell of an experience for you. And then you wrap this hell of an experience around you and you use it as a means of getting a sense of self-worth. By damn it, I'm going to overcome this. This thing is not going to get me down. What thing? The fact that you said no to God? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this thing, the problem. My quiet husband, my talkity wife, my body, my boss, my dog. No, that's not the problem. The problem is you've said no, you see?